All right, here we are on February the 17th, and today we've got a little rock job to do. And I'm not going to film a ton of it because I don't normally do rock. Okay, and it's something that I'm not equipped to do. I don't have a mini skid, I don't have a skid steer, but I don't really think I'm not experienced enough to say, but I don't think I would be able to even use those here because of the way they have this retaining wall, and the retaining wall itself is actually um, decaying out. It's like old rail ties and they're like falling apart. But um, basically, the thing with this job is we started it like 6 years ago. Okay. Um, I want to say six, it could have been five, I don't know. But so basically, what ended up happening a long, long time ago was the customer ended up ordering what they were told was 5 yards, but they only got like maybe a yard and a half of rock, and so basically they got ripped off. And I put out what they had way back then, and it's just kind of sat that way for the last few years because I mean rock is expensive and it is hard to put out. So it's like they were under the impression that for the price that they paid for what they got, they were going to get the whole thing done plus my labor, and they didn't have anywhere near enough rock. So then you start doing the math, and at the rate that guy was charging for what little he was bringing, I mean, you're looking at, you know, uh, you know, $4,000 landscape when in reality it's closer to like a $2,200 landscape or a $2,000 landscape if you were charged appropriately. But either way, that's what we're working on today. I'm not equipped for it. I don't know if I would even be able to use a skid steer here, and I'll show you all that here in a minute. I have to make one stop. I forgot my darn air compressor, so I've got to put air in my wheelbarrow tire and get a little bit of gas, and then I'll show you what's up when we get there. Here's the job. As you can see, with this little rail tie wall, it's crumbling, and furthermore, all of the sections are separated by bushes. So I don't know if I would even be able to use a mini skid here, but I'm basically right now working on the prep work, trying to get our edges cut out and our fabric laid. And you can see how far we got 5 or 6 years ago with the whatever they ordered. Not very far. Let's see, I don't think I could get a mini skid here. I did all this with a wheelbarrow way back when. Then moving over here, got a little bit of prep work here. Got my edges done. Pulled out all the drain concrete, and these steps were going around here. I'll show you what I'm doing here. Taking these holes and I'm smoothing it out with the shovel so that the slope goes down a little bit toward the lawn. There was roots here from this hydrangea, and instead of having it being this long spread out thing, I pulled the roots here so that it's contained. But let me set up this camera and I'll show you how I'm smoothing out these divots like that. I'll show you how I'm smoothing them out from the pavers. This stuff, I see a lot of people that will put a ton of effort getting this stuff like laser smooth. Do that with your material, whether it's mulch or rocks. Do your end leveling with material itself, because you can fill in dips and holes and stuff with your mulch, with your pine straw. Pine straw is a little less filling, but rocks and mulch for sure, you can level that out more perfectly. But all I need to do here is get it to where I can lay the fabric, and we're not going to have those little square indentions when the rock goes over it. All right, so I'm about an hour into the prep side of this. I've got all the dirt leveled out. I've got most of my fabric out. I'm probably gonna have to run and get more, and I knew that. But my thought process was I could get this fabric laid out. I could get my dirt, you know, rough smoothed. And then by the time I got that done, the truck would be here with the rock. But here's the deal. I asked them yesterday, because I called a week ahead to schedule this rock delivery. It's been scheduled, and I called them yesterday. Hey, do you have an idea when we'll get our delivery? No, but we'll have them call you. I've not heard from them. So it's like, this is the thing with my business. The only time I ever have trouble delivering service or staying on time is when it rains or when someone else is involved, some other company is involved. And typically it is the mulch yard, because we can't get a mulch yard to say, yeah, we'll be there at 9 in the morning. We'll be there around 12. That way I can plan accordingly. So now, like, worst case scenario, I'm going to get all this prep work done by 9:30, and I'll be sitting here for who knows, like, I genuinely have no idea. So I'm literally going to burn a day just wondering and waiting on when the rock will come, because I called them again and it's like, well, yeah, we don't have an exact time yet. So I wouldn't be shocked if I didn't get rock until like 2, in which case that's going to stretch this job out into like 3 days. It's so inconvenient when another service provider is involved, because people, I'm so anal, I'm so heavy on my schedule and my timing of things, and no one else is. Everyone else has gotten so used to just, well, we'll get to it when we get to it, because customers have allowed it for so many years. And what am I gonna do? It becomes an issue of like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna be the one guy complaining because everyone else is perfectly happy and totally fine? And then that's their justification, right? Like, and that's the thing with the wind. But that's the thing that I told my customers too, right? Which is the service, you know, and I made this video a few days back. The service I'm providing is what it is. And the market is telling me that people want that service and they want to pay these prices for that service. So if you don't want it, like, that's what my customers are telling me. The customers are telling the mulch yards, you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. Don't feel rushed. Don't feel in a hurry. And like, you could make the excuse like, oh, this is the busy time of the year. This is early. It's early February, right? Like, landscape companies are doing a little bit, but not that much. I mean, they kind of confirmed as much. So I don't know. It's a little frustrating. I will say this mulch yard that I'm working with is far better than the one I used to work with. That the guy at the old one was just a big baby, you know, and ripped people off and never gave enough quantity. So at least I'm getting, you know, what I'm supposed to be getting from these guys. It's just I never know when I'm going to get it. So hopefully I don't burn an entire day here, because I don't want this job to stretch out into 3 days. And you know, it's supposed to rain. Today's Tuesday. It's supposed to rain on Thursday. So if I can't get it done by tomorrow, this is going to stretch into like next Monday or something, because it's supposed to rain from Thursday all the way to Sunday. So I really hope they don't shoot me in the foot with this scheduling nonsense, man. All right, so I'm absolutely livid. I'm pissed. This is not 2-inch river rock. There's not a single piece in here that is 2 inches. And I mean, it's very apparent that this is not 2-inch river rock. There's not a single piece. And I called them and I said, hey, this is like 1/2 inch to maybe 1 inch. And she said, well, no, that's 2 inch. At the quarry, that's what they call it. It's 2 inch. And that's all we have is that and the 4 inch. And I said, but none of this is there's not a single piece. And she said, well, it is 2 inch. You know, actually what they call it is 57, which she kind of told on herself. Because 57 rock is 3/4 to 1 inch, which honestly, this isn't even that. This is like 1/2 inch if I'm lucky. And you can see it in comparison to the size of the gravel. So here we are with all this rock material, and they're not wanting to own up to it. And the guy, it's dropped. And look at it. It's all, it's here. So now I've got to call back and try to get, I call back when I'm not pissed off, because this is ridiculous. And for them to say, you know, it's 2-inch rock. Oh no, actually what they call it's 57th, which is very obviously not what 2-inch rock is. Oh, this is going to be a difficult situation, and I'm going to have to record the call. And if it comes down to it, you know, I mean, we're going to lose another mulch supplier over a job that realistically we weren't going to make a ton of money on anyway. Man, this is frustrating. It really, really, really is. Let's see how it goes.
What you got?
Hey, so this is what we got.
Well, come on,
sitting
look
over
at
as a 2-inch rock.
I'll show you.
Okay, because none of that's 2 inches, is it?
No.
Right. But that's what we got charged for, is a 2-inch rock. And
We
this
didn't
is,
do. No, that's not us.
yeah, this is what we received from
From
you.
us?
Yes, today.
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 Well, come on.
Yes. And I called earlier, and they said that's what the quarry said, and I'm just trying to.
Oh, you need to know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, you need to talk to this gentleman.
Take your time.
Well, I mean, I know, but I don't know what to do, because when we go to the quarry and ask for that, that's what they give us.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was my thing, is like, I know.
It's called 57s, so nickel and
And the
quarter.
57.
It's called 57s, so nickel and quarter.
And the 57.
7 is a gravel, like a driveway rock, is it not?
No, it's also a type of river.
But it,
I've never seen 57 described as a 2-inch rock. And I mean, that's not none of that is, that's the whole pile. And I'm in just a weird position because now I've got all this material that's worthless. She's not going to let me lay it, and she's livid. And I'm just hoping for a reasonable solution, because this is definitely not what she wants. And like I say, it's just nowhere near.
I mean, is that any different than what we normally get?
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Let's go look at what we got in there.
Yeah.
Let's go look, okay?
I'll show you, because I went to another customer and I got what we got before as a 2-inch, not from here, but from another supplier. And so this is what we were getting before as a 2-inch
Now,
supply.
That's a 4-inch there.
Yeah. And then if you look, I mean, you're getting, but yeah, let me.
Yeah.
And they, like I say, I would be fine with this, but
I know.
she's wanting
I'm just a yard man.
the large stuff. Yeah.
I'm a low peon. But
Right.
We got a police customer, and he went down to the quarry and got that.
Sure. Yeah.
Tell me-
Well, and that was my thing too, is like, I figured surely you guys would know, because you guys have been here forever.
Oh yeah.
And like, either the quarry's line or
Well,
y'all don't know what you're getting or something, but I don't see how
he
that would
back-
be
he
possible.
just backs up.
And drops it.
And they drop him.
Yeah.
And then he goes straight from there.
Right.
Right here.
Because if that's what they're selling us to, then yeah, because that's not it.
That's our peak gravel.
Yeah.
It's our 57s.
Yeah, because I didn't want that. I wanted a medium-sized river rock, is what I was asking for.
Now the 4-inch. It's a 4-inch.
Yeah, and see, that's closer to what we would have gotten in the past as a medium sized rock. Because your 4-inch rocks that I'm familiar with are way bigger than
Yeah,
this.
yeah, and I
And so I think it's a mislabel from the quarry or something.
Yeah, they got to be, because
These are two. This is exactly what she had before, and that's exactly what it looks like in the. So they've mislabeled you on what you're ordering, and now we're here
Right.
with this. So
right. So these are supposed to be enough for 4-inch.
Yeah, right, yeah, because the way that I would look at it is that's what I would call a medium. You don't have the large, because those are really big. The 4 inches are really and then I would call that like a small.
We used to have, just between us, okay?
Yeah.
I complained about this because these right here are not 4-inch.
Yeah, they're not. And I'm surprised.
I told on that, Dan.
I'm surprised.
Like I say, I'm a peon.
I hear you. I'm surprised other guys haven't come in and said anything.
All right, here we go with attempt number 2.
All right, want to see it before you drop it?
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. I asked him to show me, and he's got to hop in the truck. Like, we can't, the thing doesn't open. And now he's pissed and he's not talking. Whereas before he was all friendly. Okay, so today was a miserable, horrible outcome. Just stupid day. I've always ordered River Rock and just called it medium River Rock, and I've always received what in my brain is a medium River Rock, which is the, you know, kind of 3-ish inch around, like, you know, kind of decent sized rock, right? It's hard to maneuver, but it's easy enough to maneuver that you could do it solo, right? With a shovel. So I always just say medium rock, and I've always gotten that, and until today. And then talking to them, they're telling me, no, that is, you know, I mean, that's a 2-inch rock. I was okay, but I mean, it's definitely not what we're after, you know. And basically what it boils down to is the way they measure their rocks. It's like the absolute biggest size possible in the pile is what they call that batch, right? So even though 80% of that first pile is less than an inch, and there's a couple of 2-inch rocks in there that you can find if you dig around, which when the guy came and brought the second round of rocks, the right round, he did that. He was all pissy and you know, throwing a fit, and he literally had to dig for a 2-inch rock to prove that it's 2-inch rock. And I'm like, okay, but you can't sell 80% under an inch and call it a 2-inch batch. And then he goes to the other pile, and I was like, and look, none of this is 4. I mean, that's clearly, look, 1 inch, 2-inch rock. Like, and you're calling this a 4. It's labeled wrong. And I was just telling him, like, you know, I'm sorry, man, but it's labeled wrong compared to everywhere else we've ever bought it. And like I say, that was when he got pissy, the delivery driver of all people. And then he dug through the second pile for a minute, literally digging through to find the absolute biggest rock. He says, what is that? 4 inches. I was like, okay, dude, but what I'm saying, you can't have 80% under 3 inches and then call the batch a 4-inch pile, because you can find a 4-inch rock in there. That's stupid, you know. And I got obsessive and stupid, and, you know, I didn't want to argue with them, but I looked up the size chart, because she told me that the first pile of rocks was a number 57 rock.
It's called 57s. So nickel and
a 57.
Okay, so I look up what that means, and quite literally every source that I could find labels a number 57 rock as a 1/2 inch to 1 inch rock. No sources say that it's anything to do with a 2-inch rock at all. None. I got real petty. I called 2 other rock yards. Hey, what size rock is a number 57 river rock? Oh, well, it goes up to like 1 inch, but it's really small. It's just a little bit bigger than pea grade. Like, they to the T described it. Okay. So literally every source other than this particular mulch yard that I used today is telling me that that first pile is not a 2-inch rock. It is 1 inch or less. And then the second batch, they brought out to me, they're calling it a 4-inch rock. The thing about it is looking at the size charts, there's something called and I think this is where the confusion comes in. There's something called a number 4 rock, which is a range up to 3 inches in size, which was why that guy had to dig around to find a 4-inch rock in the pile of 3-inch rocks. and that was my point to him. You can't have a pile of 95% 3 inches or less and then find the 1 4-inch and say it's a 4-inch pile, which is how they're apparently doing it. Which, again, that's fine, but I need to know your stupid numbering system is different than the rest of the world. You know, I need to know that you guys have confused the rock sizing chart for your measurements. I just, it's so annoying. And like, I mean, I guess I get it, but it's just, why are they doing it differently than the other rock yards? And now, like, it's just weird. And now I'm like, do I have to switch mulch yards again? Because I don't want to go, like, I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing, dude. Like, when every single source is telling you the exact opposite of what they're telling you, and somehow I'm still coming out the crazy person, it's frustrating, man. And this is what I was saying before the rock got here. The only time I ever have issues getting jobs done is when there's a third party involved and I have to deal with their stupid systems that don't make any sense, you know, because they want to do it differently, man. I just, it's stupid, you know. And now the delivery driver, he's got to come out next Tuesday, and you know, maybe he's going to be a little pissy then too, right? I don't know. It's just, I don't know, man. That sets a horrible tone for the rest of the year, because I don't have any other mulch yards nearby, you know, and I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do, other than just, you know, suck it up and deal with the crappy service that we get from everywhere, and you know, frustrating. Okay, so here we are with our 2 piles of rocks they sent out. Okay, so this is the one that she called a 57. And she also called it a 2-inch rock. And now over here is the one that she calls a 4-inch rock. She actually didn't call it a number 4, which is what I believe it is, but she called this a 4-inch rock. So let's just take a couple scoops and just see. We got 3, I'm trying to get you good angles. We got 3/4 of an inch, we got 3/4 of an inch, we got 1/2 inch, 3/4. Now let's go a long ways. 1 1/4 inches. Let's find a really long one. Here's a long one. 1.5 inches. Here's a really long one. 1 5/8 inches. Okay. And now you can see these are not that long. 1 3/8 inches. Okay. So what this guy did is he came in here and he was looking and looking and looking, and he found the biggest rock possible, and he said, look, it's 2 inches, right? And now let's go over to the big stuff here, like the crazy person I am. And now these are all supposed to be 4 inches is what she's saying. And here we go. 2 inch, 2 inch, 2.5, 2 inch. Here's a big one, 3 inch. We're just picking randomly here. So right there, 3 inch. Right there, 3 inch. Let's walk around to the side. Okay. Now look here, 3 inch. Look here, 2 1/4. So now what he did is he went Like, he literally stood here for a minute and he went and he found this rock, okay? And he went, no, look at that. That's 5 inches. So does that make this a 5-inch pile using your logic? Like, I mean, and now you see, like, I had to look for that biggest possible rock, and that's how they apparently measure, is if you can get a 4-inch rock, this whole batch is called a 4-inch product, and that's just not how anywhere else does it. And I'm the crazy person though, okay? So this is supposed to be that, which I would say this is more, I would call this a 2-inch rock, because a majority of what I'm getting is about 2.5, you know, 2 inches, 2 1/4, 2 3/4. Like, listen, man, this tore me up yesterday. And again, after researching and researching, because I like this mulch yard, but the unfortunate fact is they really don't have their labels correct on this. And it's upsetting to, you know, be made out to be a crazy person or some horrible thing when all of the evidence in front of you says so clearly that we got the wrong product, you know. And I don't know, let's put this rock out. It's supposed to rain soon.
All right, welcome back to the vlog, Lawnside Chats. 30 minutes in, right? I don't know, I thought a lot of this was interesting to leave in. I think it made for a good little episode, right? And a different pace of episode. I didn't even catch the day of, or until I'm editing this, I didn't even catch that she said the words that this pile of rocks is labeled as nickel to quarter size. Guys, how many 2-inch quarters you guys have? Because I haven't seen one. I want to guess it's 0. Dude, this thing made my week so bad, and I'm so glad it's done. And we got some great pictures at the end of this video of the finished product. Like I say, glad it's done. Like I say, there's still too much rock left. We got to figure out where to put it all. But I'm glad this job is done after so long, you know. Super thankful to the customer for their patience. Like, this whole thing was a mess, but again, I'm speechless. I have to be thankful, right, that it's done and I don't have to go back and do more. Yeah, I'm curious what other rock guys will say to this, because here's the deal. Like, I've said it a million times, I do not do rock. I do not like rock, and you know, this is a totally new reason for me to not like rock. I just don't like rock because I don't like rock, you know. So I don't know. This is just another reason for me to hate doing rock. It's not for me, dude. It's not for me. Alright, so what we ended up doing is we're using the smaller rock as just extra coverage and a little bit more material down on the ground to, you know, help suppress weeds or whatever. And like I say, it turned out pretty well. The pictures at the end are good. I think the customer liked the end result. But something I didn't mention in the video, I couldn't figure out how to edit it in. I made a short and I asked people here on YouTube, what do they think about what was delivered and what's going on, and do you think I asked people in the short if they thought they mixed up their measurements for the sizing chart, and a lot of people agreed, you know, and a lot of people were kind of on my side, like, yeah, this is stupid, right? Like, there's basically everything that I was thinking, and you can go watch the short right now. It's on my YouTube, right? It's probably a few months back, but I tried to be impartial. Like, look, I don't know what I'm doing here. And I said that on there, like, I'm out of my depth. Help me understand what I'm looking at and what I did wrong. And definitely a lot of comments saying that I should have just went down and looked at the material, and I absolutely, like, total lesson learned on my part, right? Like, don't just assume that because you like everything else about a place that you're gonna like every single product. So if we get into a new situation in the future, we'll know. We're going to go down there and we're going to see exactly what we're getting, right? Lesson learned.
So here's how far we got on day 2. Got the stones back, got all the fabric on this side done, and a little bit of placeholder rock. And then I went ahead and sprayed these rock, and I got the big rock laid on top. And this is still wet, but I got all the mud off of it, and I'm curious to see what it looks like when it dries in the morning. All right, next day out. We're on a lunch break right now, and just want to show a little bit of the progress today. Basically, we ended up right around that line, right around there, and we've got all this over here done so far in the big rock. Last night, where I left off, was I just had a light layer of the small rock, and now we're doing the big layer here, which is not turning out that bad, honestly. But basically all I got left is this here, and then coming over, and it will wrap around here, and then right around this tree. We should have enough to get it done with the big rocks. And if I have enough, what I'll do is I'll come down here, and then we're going to put the rest of the small rocks around these holly trees, and then that will pretty much make this whole property done from a mulch land, a mulch standpoint, moving forward. Because really all you got to do from that point is spray the weeds out. You know, one of the things about rock, people put rock down thinking that they're never going to have weeds. Well, the real benefit of rock is that if you put that fabric down, the fabric is not to prevent weeds. The fabric is to stop the rock from sinking into the dirt. It keeps them separate. You're gonna get weeds in rock. You're gonna get weeds over landscape fabric, no matter what. The thing that happens is, over time, over the years, dirt settles on top of the fabric. Dirt settles into the rock bed, and the weeds germinate on top. It will happen 100,000% of the time. The way to prevent it is to keep them sprayed out, hand pulled, or do your weed prevention product, which is all the same stuff you have to do in mulch anyway. I will say the rock, you'll get less weeds, but eventually you're gonna get weeds, and eventually you're gonna be not in the exact same spot, but if you just let it go completely untouched, you'll end up in the exact same spot as if you just did a mulch or something. The benefit of rock truly is that once the rock is down, you don't have to do it every single year like you do with mulch. So it's a big, like, $2,000 investment up front, but then you got 10, 20, 30 years, as long as you keep on top of that spraying and stuff. You really truly don't have to do much maintenance to a rock bed. All right, so we got our light layer of rock down, and we're gonna make sharp edges with the big rock, kind of like we did back there. That's where your big rock is, and then we get into light stuff. Light stuff is just to kind of help with coverage. And then we're gonna make the shape with the big rock a little bit out a little bit. There's that. Now we just gotta lay the big stuff. All right, here we go. We're all done. Just got the rocks rinsed off on that end, but we're done. Let's take a quick look here. There's a couple little things to finish up, but most of it right there. Back here. Pretty much gets it, and the rest of this over here was just stuff that we did way back when. That's mostly a wrap on this one. I still have a lot of rocks left because of the mix up with the rock water, and basically what we're gonna do, it's very windy again, what we're gonna do is of course it picks up with the rest of this rock. There's a couple other little trees and stuff that we're probably going to end up doing. I'll have to talk to them about that. But also at some point we may end up replacing this retaining wall here. And if you know anything about retaining walls, you know you got to have a little bit of rock for drainage. And well, wouldn't you know, we have the best size rock for drainage rock. So I'm probably going to talk to her about using this for that, because that, I mean, that what else, what better use, right? But then we got a couple other trees, but that's all for a later date. Headed on home from this one. Still got a few things left to do to get ready for the regular season. Next week on the list, I've got a 10-yard mulch job. I'm going to try to get someone hired on for that, just to have the help, but we'll see how it goes, man. Like I say, I tried to get someone out here to help me with this one, but the problem with right now, being early February, there's really not much to do that I couldn't just do alone in a day, right? People are wanting hours, okay, and I just don't have the hours, and no one's willing to be patient. So, and I don't blame them, you know, I don't blame people, you know, for wanting more money and all that kind of stuff. But like I say, this year I'm not hiring anyone that's just wanting to, you know, I don't want to hire someone that's desperate. I don't want to hire someone that just, you know, I'm going to go through people a lot this year. I know it already. We're looking to basically just hire. If it works out, great. If it's not a good fit, I just don't want to have you around. Like it's just one of these things where it's like, I've got to have the right person with me out here doing this, someone motivated, someone that I actually wants to be here and that I actually want to pay more, so with a good attitude, that works hard, and like I say, just someone that wants to be here, you know what I mean? All these guys call you and talk about how much they need money and all this stuff, and then they're just gone because they're sick, or they can't make it, or their car broke down, or my kid is this, that, like, dude, figure it out. Like, it's frustrating, man. We're gonna figure it out.
All right, so here's our after pictures, and again, I'm really happy with how these turned out. You know, if you can get your glamour shots, is it worth it at the end? Maybe. Yeah, I like it. You know, I'm real happy to see this job done after so long. I wish we could have done it sooner, but you know, there was always the budget and the timing issue of just me being able to do all this work during the middle of a busy season. It's difficult when you're solo, you know what I mean? It's very difficult. But hey, you know what? I'm thankful. Please subscribe.